Okay, so yesterday we did, and I guess I'm just going to give it away. But yesterday we did the PRAXIS, and I said I needed more, and well, I got more. So it did come in today like I thought it would. So I got to make sure these videos fall one after the other, so it really makes sense to you what I'm actually talking about here. So I got his permission to mention his name and his eBay store, and I'm just going to bring it up on my phone so that you can see it. $61 is what I paid for this, and this is Jeff's Knife Emporium, 2001, 98.9% positive feedback, and you can see in his reviews 4.9, 4.9, 50, 50. And so this is a really nice guy, or girl. I apologize, I don't know the gender, but I saved them, and I intend to deal with this person more because I feel very confident and comfortable in them. They shipped it immediately, and I think it started moving within 3 days in the United States Postal Service. And here is what we got. Let's finish cutting this open. And I wish I had the box and everything for it. I'd love for this to have been a new one, but I mean, I'm way too invested in the channel, and there's no return, and so I am kind of getting overextended. So there. Of course, you already knew it was going to be a Civivi, but it is a Civivi Vision FG, and so far it is looking exactly like the listing, exactly the way he had it shown in the listing. And so I feel that this seller is absolutely a very honest seller. This is, of course, a used blade or used knife, and you can tell that the G10 handles are in really, really good shape. I should have looked up the specs on this to be able to share all that with you, and I do sincerely apologize. I'll try to get my act together on these knife reviews, because I really like knives, and I really want to share what I got here. And so you can see there's a little bit of pocket wear, or not wear, but pocket lint underneath the clip, but it's cleaned up really well. I mean, it's in really good shape. So let's check out the blade. And I'm telling you, that blade is, I mean, literally, it looks unused. And see, it's not shaven sharp, so we know that it has been used. And so that even makes me feel better, because I mean, look at the side of that blade. There's zero marks on that coating, and so I feel like that is a very resilient coating, designed by Cynics. So I will do a teardown and cleaning on this, and then I'm wondering if possibly a stropping would bring this blade back into a good cutting condition, or not. I don't know. This blade type, now to me, that's basically a reverse tanto, but I think it's more commonly called a sheep's foot, and it's a pretty thick blade all the way, even to, as far as I'm concerned, to the point. It comes to a pretty fine point. It wouldn't be a jugger type blade, but that is a beautiful utility blade as far as I'm concerned. The finger choil is very blunt, which is great. So you get in there and you don't have to worry about your finger in there, because you got a good bit of it. It looks like it sticks out a little bit more than the PRAXIS did on the other video, and roughly about the same. So here's the size difference between the PRAXIS and this blade here. This is like a full fisted grip on the Vision FG, and then this is a full fisted grip on the PRAXIS, and you can see probably a little more butt end of the handle sticking out there. And this is right and left hand clips. But what is really neat, it's still the same smoothness as that one. I mean, this right here, I guess it's probably even smoother because it's a used knife, so it's been worn in, I'm sure, because this is a $61 fidget toy. That's what that is. That I can tell you, this one got 3,000 flicks. I ain't gonna be trying to torture test it, but I bet it gets 3,000 flicks too. But that lockup is what got me, because it is basically, it's zero. No, that blade's just, you know, that's it. I mean, there's nothing holding it when you engage that or disengage that lock back there. I don't even know. Hopefully I can zero in on that, and maybe you can see that, and I can zoom in and you can see it kind of locking into this little dado right here. And so it's actually locking in behind the stop pin for the blade into that little recess, and so your blade is just super locked up. As a matter of fact, Neevs Knives, I love that guy. He seems straightforward and honest, so I've subscribed to him, and he's I think a really good guy. And he did some torture tests on the Wii version, which is the high grade, and the low grade Civivi, which in my opinion is high grade. And it was two of them. It was one like this one, and then one that was a Damascus. And I love the look of this. And I mean, I love all of them. I love the look of that blade there too. I love that spear point, teardrop shaped blade. And this one right here, I love that blade right there. And there's several Civivis that I don't really like the blade shape. I'd love to have an Elementum. I'd love to have a Orbits or Cubit. I'd love to have a bunch of the other Civivi type knives, but getting back to this one, so that the action on it is very good. It's well smooth and worked in, the bearings and everything on this. Getting back to Neevs Knives, he did a torture test with those knives, and one of the things he did was beat the heck out of the back of the knife on concrete, you know, checking the locking mechanism. And this knife performed best. He did it with this one, and he did it with the highest expensive Wii knife, and the Wii knife actually popped loose. It actually come loose, and this knife it held up better. But I mean, it's just, I love this knife. That's just a fidget toy in my pocket with a purpose, with a blade. That's a fidget blade, and I love that. So I'm really looking forward to pulling this knife down and actually cleaning it to see everything inside of it. I am very impressed with the knife. The eBay seller, again, who was that name? Jeff's Knife Emporium. Again, right here, Jeff's Knife Emporium. This guy, let's see if so. This kind of look at that right there. He's got 184 followers. He sold over 4,300 items, and has a super good feedback rating. I'm kind of thinking I may try to buy a Benchmade from him at some point or another, just to compare to the clones and the fake ones that I've got, because I really want to do some kind of a video on that, because I mean, there's no way I can buy a Benchmade. It's just too expensive. And I believe that these knives, these Civivi knives, there's nothing with these knives that tell me that there is any possibility of them being anything but real world knives. So the Civivi brand knives really speaks to my heart because I believe they are a knife that will hang with me. I ain't gonna be here long enough to really wear one of these things out, but at the same time, I don't feel uncomfortable with using these knives. And well, let me try to embarrass myself. Hold on. I did it. I did it. I did what they call that, the Spidey flick or reverse flick or finger flick or flicker off or whatever. But I finally did it. I think that's probably the only knife I've done it with. But, well, and then I embarrassed myself. There we go. I'm doing that all wrong, but I don't care. So that, yeah, I ain't going to keep embarrassing myself. But I can do it. I mean, I don't know. Let me try to fail it, which I'm sure I can. Well, okay. Well, there we go. Okay, so that was just a bare little flick right there. And so, I mean, I just think this knife here has the best of all worlds. And you got that tip on there, a really precise tip to get in there, to get around certain little areas. You know, so I feel like it's got everything. Now the downside, yeah, but in the case of this knife right here, so back here you have it on the lockup, so it's not a problem. Now you don't have as pronounced a recess in here to hold, you know, to get a grip underneath here with, which I don't think it's that big a deal because this isn't a jigger. But when you get up here and your fingers in that choll, you're choked up on it, which this is a way that I would grab a knife too. There's no jimping up here, or gimping, or whatever you want to call it. There's none up here. So I would feel less comfortable choking up on this knife than I would choking up on the PRAXIS. But then with this one, you know, you don't have very much of a pronounce here, and there's no support here, so I would, although you can, I would have less confidence choking up on this knife. I'd be much more confident back here. But again, you know, it's not a jigger. The point's not really designed for that, although it is a pretty straight right into the pivot pin. But that's not a good part of this knife. And so this is also a flat ground knife. The blade is a flat ground blade, and so I mean I think everything about this is, even from sharpening to otherwise, I think it's going to be an easy, just like with this one, I think it's going to be an easy knife to sharpen and maintain. And I really love the fact that this blade coating is still there with obvious use on the knife, and it's not even marked. I mean, you can hear a little bit of a tick, and with practice I could open this knife one-handed, completely silent, without making any noise, and make as much noise as I want to make. So these are my babies. That's my babies right there. I don't know that I'll ever manage to get a knife that I like and enjoy more than these two right here, because I love a full-size knife, and these blades and the knives, the feel of the knives, these G10 handles, you know, I mean, you don't need to see me open it 100 times, but this is a knife that you just want to do that. And this, I'm not even noticing. Again, if you'll notice, see, with the PRAXIS, it's lower, and I feel the clip. This one's on the spine, and I don't, the way this fits in my hand. So you listen to some knife reviews, and they're talking about how that clip never needs to be on the spine. It depends on your hand. It depends on your hand shape. If your hand's like mine, and you grip a knife the way I grip a knife, that is going to be right here in that crease, and you're not going to feel it. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up here now. I thank you guys. I thank y'all. I thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and hope to see you again on the next one. Thank you. It's very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.